Hi everybody, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. We're back out on the driveway again today and we are going to be looking at the Lotus. Now I know I said in the last video that I was going to have to leave it alone for a while, but temptation has got the better of me and I want to start doing a few bits and bobs to it. So before we do any work on it, I actually want to go around it and show all you guys all the things that actually do need doing to it in a little bit more detail. Obviously I had a quick walk around it when we picked it up and I've cleaned it. Now it's time to get into what actually needs doing to it, and obviously start making a list of all the parts I'm sure I'm going to need. So let me grab the camera, we'll have a little walk around the outside quickly, and then I want to get it jacked up, look underneath it, and also I want to put a battery on it and we're going to see what works for the first time. It hasn't had a working battery in 23 years, so it should be quite interesting to see what still works and what doesn't. And obviously then we can make, as I say, a list, an itinerary if you like, of the jobs we need to do and the parts we need to get and how much I'm going to need to spend on it. So let me grab the camera and we'll have a little look. Rightio, we'll start on the outside because this is probably the easiest bit. Obviously we know that it's going to need a repaint. That is going to be in the future. That is not going to be a straight away job. So we're going to ignore the bodywork for now. We're going to concentrate more on getting the car mechanically working again and roadworthy. So obviously the first thing you would have seen in the last video is we do need tyres. That one has gone flat again. That one is the spare because that one kept going down really fast, and the two on the other side are actually staying up, but they're obviously as old as these ones, so it will need 4 tyres. The door handles I was going to try and repair, but there are replacements available and they do seem a better alternative, so we're going to need to get 2 door handles for it. I'm not facing the camera right, and you can see this metal beam inside here is what the whole structure of the door sits on. It runs, it's about from there down to here, and it runs right the way through, and that is what our door hinge attaches to. If I open this, obviously you would have seen it if you watched the first video, the doors are at it. And if you look in there you can see a hell of a lot of rust, and to the point where I think a lot of the door opening and closing is just the metal flexing rather than the door hinge itself doing what it should be doing with the pin. So again, these are made, so I'm going to need 2 door beams, one for both sides, and we're going to need 2 door handles. So that's that. We also need a door frame. As you can see there, this one has completely rotted out right the way down. This one is particularly manky. I have actually got one of these already, a second-hand one, which has got some corrosion around this area here. So what I plan to do to repair it, I don't know if it's this area or this area, actually I can't remember now, but what I plan to do to repair it is take this one out and use some of the good sections on this one to weld into the bad bits on the other one, which are only very small. So that should sort out that. That effectively then gets the doors sorted out and secure, and then we can obviously move on to other things on the car. Just show you the tyres on this side, so you can see the tyres are both up this side, but again, because they're so old, we do need to change them. Now you will see the size on there, 215/50/15. That particular size tyre is actually not made anymore, so I've been reliably informed by various people on the Lotus forums that the size used now is 205/50/15, so it goes down slightly on the width, but the same profile. So that will be obviously what size we'll be getting for those. Right, going around the back, I don't think there's anything. In fact, there is something we need in the boot. We need a new battery. Our old battery is nestled in there. I'm going to take that out. I dare say that's absolutely had it. So we'll take that out and we'll put a temporary battery in there for now, just to obviously try and test out what works and what doesn't. Another thing we need to sort out while we're in the boot is the fuel tank, which is in there. Hang on, let me get the camera in, I'll see if I can show you a bit better. There we go, you can see the fuel tank there. I dare say that's going to need a good flush out and obviously sorting out, along with the fuel lines. So that is going to be another thing that we do need to do. Going around the car again. In fact, I'm going to squeeze. I've got loads of cobwebs around here because I haven't been out here a little while. Let's open the car up. Got to be careful with these doors. Right, in the back, you would have seen in the cleaning video that unfortunately the top of the rear seat did come off a bit worse for wear with the hoover because it was so thin. So you can see that that does need replacing, and you can also see that piece of like what you call sort of ruffled plastic, or whatever you want to call it, bumpy plastic, that did actually have carpet over that, but it was so sunbaked that it literally just disintegrated when I touched it. So I pulled all that off for now, so that at least it doesn't disintegrate everywhere all over the interior. Now, as you would have seen from the cleaning in the last video as well, we do need a headliner and we do need new trim on the pillars. I'll probably retrim them myself, get some headliner cloth, the foam back stuff, and obviously get those retrimmed. In the front, again, headliner in the front's gone, as you would have seen from previous. Coming around to the dashboard, we need to sort this out. This is quite a major thing. I'm not sure. It almost looks like that's caught a light and smouldered away. It looks like it's been a light. I can't see how that would have got from being up there in the screen to being there. Well, I know it's ruffled over a bit, but it's not anywhere near the length it needs to be to reach right the way back there. So yeah, not sure how we're going to sort that one out at the moment. Obviously, if any of you guys watching know of any good specialists or places I can get stuff like this that I'm going to need, it would all be very, very much appreciated. The sun visors again are all coming adrift, so they will need retrimming of some sort, either that or re-gluing. Same with this bit of the headliner here. You can see it's obviously coming away at the front. I haven't touched that yet because it's going to get stuff all over my head otherwise. The gear knob has seen better days. I have got the insert for it, which is good. What I'm actually going to do is see if that insert on there undoes. It should do. It should be on a threaded insert, I would have thought. I'm going to see what gear knobs I've got. I've actually got a Westfield gear knob inside the house, which I had from when I had the Westfield, and it didn't actually fit on the Westfield, which was daft. It was like an aftermarket one you could buy, but it didn't fit. So I'm going to try that and see if that fits on there, and that will obviously go fairly well in here, I would have thought. The steering wheel is perfectly usable. It's a bit worse wear on the top, as you can see. It's not horrendous, it's a bit cracked, but it's not too bad. Same with the dash, really. I mean, these are all things that can be done in time. They've not got to be stuff that's got to be done straight away. So I think the next thing I'll do is get a battery hooked up on it, and we'll have a little look and see what actually works in here as far as dashboard lights and heater blower and all that sort of thing. If the clock works and the radio, I'll go and find the radio face and put that in and see if that works. And that will give us an idea if we've got to change anything else in here. See if the windows go up and down. I dare say they probably want a little bit of lubrication if they do work. I think it's got central locking. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that seems pretty jammed up to me, so I'm going to say that's probably not going to work at the moment. Obviously we've got electric mirrors as well as electric windows, so we'll try those out in a second as well. So let me go and grab a donor battery and we'll connect it up and we'll see what we got. And the best thing we can try out is those pop-up headlights on the front there. I've got to have a pop-up headlight. I would definitely want to see if they work. So let me come back to you when I've got a battery connected. Rightio, there's the old battery out. I've no idea how long it's been in there for. A fair while, I would say. Now I've just got a temporary battery in here, which is a bit too big really, but let me just try and tilt you down so I can show you in a second. There we go. So we've got this bigger battery here. I've got the hooked up. I'm just going to dab the positive on for a second and see what it does. No horrible arcing or anything like that. Have we got a boot light in here? Let's see, there's a switch. Where's the light? Is there one? Got no idea. Right, well that's connected and nothing too severe has happened. Just want to see if that door light's on. I don't know if it's a light or a reflector, you see. No idea. What I might do as well is I'm going to stick a charger on it as well, because I don't know how good that battery is. So I'm going to just go and get a charger. I'll put that on there and I'll come back to you when I've got the key as well, and we'll see what comes on when we switch the dash on. Right, I've just connected the battery charger. I've got it in the front of the car, and the CD player's ejected the last CD that it had in here. What is it? Gordon Lightfoot. Gould's Gold. I've no idea what that is, but that was what was in the CD player. The immobiliser light is flashing away there, so that is effectively energised. I wonder what happens when we put our fob on it. Let's see. Not a lot. Oh, there you go, it stopped flashing now. So effectively that, I guess, is disabled now. Let's see what comes alive if we put the key in the ignition. Oh look! We've got an indicator on. Where's the indicator stalk? Which one is it? Oh, that's the wiper. I didn't really want to do that. That worked. Oh, it's the hazard lights that are on. Where's the hazard light switch there? Right there. It would appear that's ominous if ever I've seen it. The hazard lights, they've gone off now, but they were switched on like that, which says to me that the last time this car had a battery on it, it was broken down. Which would explain quite a few things. Now, I can't get them to go off again now. I think the switch may be a bit dodgy. Either that, or that might actually be, thinking about it, that might actually be the alarm going off. So it stopped again now. I think that's the alarm. So looking at the gauges, we've actually got a working fuel gauge, which I did not expect. I wonder whether that fuel is any good after 23 years. I very much doubt it, but that was before ethanol, so you never know. The voltmeter works, as you can see there. We're on 14 volts, just under, because we are plugged into the charger. The clock is down there, and it has moved, because that was just before the 11 a minute ago, so it is working by the looks of it. Let's try our heater blower. Nothing's happening with that, but then something's just started clicking down here. It is trying. Oop, fuse just popped down there. Just saw it pop. So the heater blower is currently inoperative, which probably means the fan motor is stuck, drawing too much power, and obviously is not healthy. Right, let's check the one thing I really want to check. I'm going to put you out here. Let's see what happens. Oh yes, we've got a pair of headlights. How cool is that? Do they go back off again? That's the question. Yes, they do. Look at that. That is mega. They were slightly out of time. Oh, they're getting better. That's brilliant. Now that those indicators are flashing again, so I don't know where. I'm just putting the key fob in this immobiliser thing again to see if it makes any difference. Yeah, it's stopped now. Now I don't want to bump the starter, and the reason for that is well, I'll show you later on in the video the reason for that, but needless to say, I'm in a bit of a world of pain. So that will come in a little while, but at least we have got working some stuff. What's this button? What this button here does, I have no idea what that does. I assume that's the dash illumination brightness, I would have thought. Heated rear window, now that won't go off. That's a bit temperamental, that switch. There we go. And the heated rear window, it appears to be working. The switch is a bit sticky, and so is the relay. There we go, switched that off. Right, let's have a look outside, see what lights we've got working on the actual lights outside. Now the headlights are popped up. It's a bit of a struggle to get in and out of this, but look at that. Have we got both headlights? Oh, we've got the indicators flashing again, because I assume the alarm's going off. We've got one side light bulb in that one, and we've got a side light bulb in that one, but no main beam. So either the bulbs are both gone or there's something else wrong. We've got no side lights in these. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you. I think that alarm is going to cause us some issues. There is a separate key on the key ring. I wonder whether that's for the alarm, and there's a key I've got to find. Can't believe there's a CD in the CD player. Proves the stereo works. Right, I'm looking for another key somewhere where you wouldn't expect there to be one, if that makes sense. All I can find is that key fob. Right, I may have to do a bit of investigation work into this, but while we've got it on, let's see if the windows work. Well, it went to. It's a bit stuck, but it is looking to work, so it looks like our motor's okay on that side, but the regulator is stuck. Let's try this side. Same thing with this side. The motor works. Oh, there it goes. I don't want to go too far down, because that is all going to need, in fact it won't go any further than that. That's all going to need lubricating. Let's see if we can get the driver's one going like that. No, driver's one seems to be a bit more, it does move as tightly, but at the top, if you look at it, see, it is moving, but not enough to go down any further than that. So at least it works. Let's try the mirrors. I can hear something clicking, but I don't. It would appear the mirrors aren't working, which is no surprise. Yeah, mirrors aren't working at all. This one makes a funny clicking noise, but that's about it. Okay, right, I'm going to cut there for a minute. I'm going to see if I can find this other key, if there is another key for the alarm. I'll come back to you in a second. Right, I can't find another key inside anywhere. I seem to remember that there was a remote fob on the other set of keys, so I'm going to have a look at that in a little while. But while I'm here, I thought I would get the car up in the air and show you underneath. Now, it looks very what's the word, crusty, as you would expect, but nothing too horrendous. I think it's all perfectly refurbable as such. Even a lot of the gaskets aren't split, like on that ball joint there. Sorry, that sunlight's bright, isn't it? There we go. Looks okay. The springs are pretty corroded. This steering gaiter has seen better days. That's disintegrated, as you can see. The actual chassis itself, obviously on these they're galvanised, which is handy, But remember, this did sit about half a mile from the seafront for 23 years. I'm sorry this is, let me just take you out the tripod and I can straighten you up a bit. There we go. So you can see it all looks pretty good. It's got a little tiny bit of surface corrosion on it, but that is all totally solid. Actually, it looks really good. I'm quite pleased with that. But if that was a DeLorean and it had been sitting for that long near the seafront, it would be toast. But on this, it looks pretty good. As you can see all the way down, let me zoom in for you. You can see it runs right the way down the centre of the car, the chassis. Now this has got stainless steel exhaust. I'm not sure if this front, it doesn't look like it is to me, this front section is, it looks like it's from this join. Can't really see it very well, but this join here, that is where I think it's stainless steel from. It may be stainless all the way up, just not maybe a great grade, or it's just corroded a little bit or whatever else. But that chassis, that side looks really, really good too, which I'm really chuffed about. So that is absolutely mega. So on the front suspension side of things, it's pretty much the same that side. We're going to need everything as far as brakes, pads, caliper refurbs, the brake lines themselves, probably track rod ends if they don't come undone, or if the gaiters are split. I haven't investigated closely yet. The steering gaiter on this side looks fairly okay, even though it's held on with a cable tie, so it may be prudent to change both of those as well while we're here. They're not going to be fortunes, I wouldn't have thought, hopefully. And I think that is the oil cooler, that little rad you can see there, this little one here. It's only a small rad, so that is looks fairly okay. It's not puddles of oil all over the floor, so I don't think it's leaking. Obviously we haven't started the engine yet, so that is obviously the sump of the engine, I would assume there. I think it is in the gearbox behind that, and obviously then you've got a prop that goes to the rear wheels. I'm going to try and get under the back if I can and have a little look and see what's under the back of it. It is a bit difficult where I'm at the moment because it is on the front of the drive, and effectively that brick there and it being in gear is all that's holding it from rolling into my wall. It's a bit tricky, so I'm doing my best to show you all around it, obviously without causing a major disaster and going through next door's wall, or our wall into next door's drive I should say. But overall, I know it's really, really crusty. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's going to be all right, which is absolutely great news. I'm going to obviously find other things as I go along. I'm not sure what those lines are there. They're pretty corroded. But obviously this I can't say it, preliminary inspection is just more giving me an idea of exactly what I need to start off with. Now I have tried the pedals, the clutch and brake are both seized, and I have been advised do not try and push them because you'll bend the pedals. So I've taken on that advice. Thank you, I forget who told me it now, but thank you for telling me that. And we are going to have to get a new clutch and brake master for that, because obviously they are completely seized solid and no good. Right, let me reposition and I'll come back to you when we're at the back and we'll have a little look underneath the back suspension. Okay, we're at the back now. You can see the stainless steel exhaust. That's the centre box silencer going into the split pipe there, and obviously out to each side up there. Again, the chassis looks really, really good. I mean, it's a bit corroded as far as, it's not corrosion as such, it's just like sort of dust on it. I think with a real nice clean up that'd be absolutely fine. I don't think we ever need to worry about that at all. Even those lower arms, it's only got very, very light surface rust on. You can see it rubs off with my finger, so that is really, really good news too. Obviously we've not got any body rust, well hopefully no body rust to worry about. There's a bit of rust there, I don't know what that is. There is a metal strap going across there, but again it's solid, it's not rotten through or anything like that, which is absolutely brilliant. Very, very similar rear knuckles on this to the DeLorean, with those big alley knuckles, and a bit like a front one really, and obviously the link suspension. Even the CB boots on the back there are in remarkable condition for their age, considering how long they've been sitting for. Again, the springs are a bit crusty, but they'll do the job for now. I may have those taken off, or I'll take those off, or I should say, and get those maybe blasted and powder coated or something like that. There's the rear diff. Nothing leaking out of it. I don't know whether that's good or bad, because I don't know if there's anything left in it or not, if that makes sense. But obviously we'll find that out in due course. That's the other half of the rear bottom trailing arm there. They're a big triangle on these, whereas on the DeLorean they're a single sort of box beam, and they're not as good. I'd say the suspension setup on this is a lot more sturdy and superior to the old DeLorean, unfortunately. I think the DeLorean was done in a bit of a hurry, as you can probably imagine. So yeah, underneath it's going to be the same at the back here. We're going to need discs, pads and shoes on the back, because it has got those inside drums as part of the disc, if that makes sense. You would have seen that on the very first video when we took it off the driveway where we found it. Brake lines, I would think, are probably going to need changing, because I don't really trust those after 23 years of sitting. Obviously a brake fluid change and all that sort of good stuff. The handbrake cable, I'm hoping it's going to be alright. The handbrake was left off, so in theory if we can get a bit of movement in it both ways, we should be alright with that side of things. I'm not going to try it just yet, because obviously there's no shoes in one side of it where we had to take them out. But yeah, other than that, the seats look like they bolt in exactly the same way as the DeLorean, 4 bolts straight through the floor. So that's obviously been taken out of the old Lotus handbook. There's not really a lot else to show under here, to be honest with you. We now need to turn our attention to the elephant in the room, the engine bay. I'll get up and get under there and I'll come back to you. Right, onto the engine bay, the elephant in the room, as they say, this engine. Now, it is at this point in time that I'm going to pass you back to past me, and I'm going to show you exactly how I started off, and what I thought was a good idea turns out to be an absolute nightmare. So I'll send you back to past me and I'll come back to you in just a second. Right, first thing we're going to do is get these plugs out, because I want to see what they look like, and also want to get some oil down the bores. Oh, they're stuck on there. First thing is getting the plug leads off. And there we go. Right, they look quite new, those plugs. This is where we find I haven't got the right size spark plug socket. No, we have, that's all right. Let's have a little look here, see if it comes undone easy or not. Oh, that's tight. I'm going to go and get some WD. I'm going to spray that first. Get that out of here. Give it some of that down there. I don't know what it's going, whether it's going to go down the thread or not, but better than nothing. What I'll actually do is, while we're here, I'm going to take all the plug leads off and soak them all. Because that way they can be marinating while I'm doing it. I'm running out of WD-40, that's a problem. Boots come off of that one. These are really tight. Bearing in mind how long they've been touched for, I suppose they would be, wouldn't they? Oh, might have to go and get some pliers for that, can't get it off. No. The HT lead has just completely snapped in my hand. So that shows you how corroded that was inside. It's come off now, it's typical, isn't it? Right, I've just got that fourth lead off. That one actually looks like it's been eaten by something, or it's been chafing on something, so I think we need a new set of leads for it. I'm going to get some WD in there. Can't get the can in there because it's running out. Come on. I need a little bit more out of you. There it goes. Right, I've got WD-40 around all those plugs now, so let's see if we can get them undone. Oh, it moved. Oh, that don't sound good. Please don't strip off in the head. Going. Yes. Gently being persuaded. Oh. I think we got it. First one. I didn't think that was going to come out for a minute. It's very tight in there, but hopefully now the WD-40 can get down the threads where I've sprayed it in around the plug, it can get easier as it goes in. Just looking here, the distributor is actually right underneath that inlet manifold. It's a bit of a pain. I'll go and get the electric ratchet, it might be a bit easier. Right, electric ratchet is missing in action at the moment, so I have to carry on with this one. Out. Let's see. Bits of red. Not done it too bad. See that in the camera? First one looks alright. Sorry, that was my neighbour just asking what I was doing to this. Right, let's see if this next one comes out. It's really, really tight. That ain't going. That's not good. Let's try the next one. I'll try them all, and if any of them come undone easy, then obviously that one's coming undone. We'll go with that one. May have to get a breaker bar on that other one, which is not ideal, but we'll have a go at it. That one weren't too bad. What's this one look like? Yeah, not bad. A little bit of white on the tip there. That's a little bit of moisture on it, but nothing too horrendous. Try and keep these in order if I can. Right, let's try this back one, see if this one comes out. Nope. I'm gonna have to get a bit longer lever on that. Right, got a breaker bar on it, let's see if that goes. Cool. That does not want to go, I don't want to force it. Slightly worrying. Neither of those two want to go. It's not good. So, what I might do is actually get the impact gun on it, which I know is not ideal, but that will shock it hopefully to get it undone. So let me go and grab that. Wouldn't usually recommend using an impact gun on spark plugs, but I need to give it a try on this one. Just to see if we can get it to loosen up. it to undo. Just want to get a bit of shock in it. Like that, and then we'll try it again with the breaker bar. See whether that helps. That is not budging at all. I don't want to snap it in there. Okay, we may have to soak these for a while and just leave them and hope that the WD-40 gets down there. That's my thinking at the moment anyway. I do not want to snap them in the head. Let's try the impact on the other one, see whether that does anything else. I'm not sure it will, to be honest, but you never know. It's tricky to get in there on this one because the aircon pipe's in the way. Oop, headbutt the camera. Again, I know it's not going to undo it, but I just want to get a bit of shock in there to try and free up the corrosion and threads that's on the threads, you know. Still doesn't want to know. Does not want to know that one either. Never had a spark plug, either of those spark plugs, I've never had them that tight before. Not sure what I'm going to do at the moment, so I'll have to come back to you in a minute when I've made a decision. Right, status update. I'm in trouble. You can see in that port there, hang on a second, I'll see if I can zoom in. That plug has snapped. So what I'm going to try and do is get the porcelain out in the middle of it, and I'm going to get a spark plug remover and hopefully be able to unwind it with that. The other three have come undone. That was the back one, which wouldn't come out, which with soaking it with WD then came out, and this one started moving and I thought great, it's moving, and as I did it, it let go. So I'm going to work on that, getting that porcelain out the middle, and I'm going to get a spark plug remover and hopefully be able to unwind it with that. Right, the situation has worsened slightly. You can see in there now, I got the porcelain out with a hoover, tried an easy out on the spark plug, and I snapped the easy out in the spark plug. So I'm in a world of pain now where I've got to try and get the easy out of the spark plug to obviously try and get that plug out. So I'm at the moment going to jack up the car, get this tank unbolted to get me more access to that, and then we can hopefully try and get a drill in there, try and get that easy out back out again. I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, this is the first time I've actually ever had this wheel off, and yeah, there's a few bits of plant growing out of everywhere, same as it was under the engine originally. So obviously this is going to need a little bit of clean up, and as you can see there as well, the steering boot is completely gone as well. So he's going to need some attention under here. We knew that anyway, so that's not quite much of a problem. The 3 bolts we've got to get to, I think, are these 3 here. Hopefully they're not going to be totally rotten and snap off. They might well do, but that should release our tank on the inside inner wing, and then we can get a bit more access to that spark plug. I'll come back to you when I've got this tank unbolted. Right, status update for you. As you can see, I've got the easy out back out again after snapping another easy out in the middle of the original easy out. So I've got a little bit of easy out in the plug hole now, which is unfortunate, but I knew I was going to have to hoover it all out, and I'm going to have to get a boroscope on there to make sure that there's nothing left in there. But as you can see, I'm down now to the original shell of the spark plug, so I'm going to work my way through this now, and hopefully it will yield and come out my way and not have any more grief, hopefully. And once I've got that out, then I can get in the cylinder and start cleaning it all up, and again I get a boroscope in there, make sure that it is absolutely clean in there and there's no swarf or anything left in there. Going to get a vacuum in there with a little tiny small hose, and all that sort of thing. I'm going to take the bag out of the vacuum cleaner so I can see exactly what's been sucked up, so I know that I've got the piece of easy out that I know that's definitely in there back out again. So yeah, I'm making progress. It is very slow progress, which is why I haven't kept filming it. And also, as you can see, if I zoom out, access is very limited. I've got this rocker cover off. In fact, I'll show you inside there just while I'm on camera. It looks very, very good in here actually. It's still got some oil laying in there, which is handy. Considering it's not been touched for so long, that don't look too bad. So that is obviously off, and I've got it covered up. Unfortunately, I've damaged the gasket slightly there, but there's not a lot I can do about that because I had a drill there, which is why I had to take the gasket off, the rocker cover off in the first place, because I didn't have enough height on the drill to be able to get it in there without the chuck hitting first. So that's why that's off and all covered up with cloths. So I want to carry on, and as soon as I get a bit more progress, I'll come back to you. Rightio, as you would have just seen, I tried to get those spark plugs out. I thought I was on a roll. I got 2 out of 4, then I got 3 out of 4. That last one bit me bad, and I have been on this for a while, which is why I haven't made any more progress on this at the moment, and why also I don't want to turn the engine over yet, because now I've been effectively attacking that spark plug in the hole. There is a fair bit of debris that would have fallen down into the cylinder, and I do not want to risk scoring anything by trying to turn the engine over. So I think what I'm going to have to do, I've finally got this in my head, I'm going to have to take the head off and obviously find out exactly what's going on inside. I've got a funny feeling, looking at the history of the car, in 1998, which is a year before this car came off the road, there was a service bill in there, and it also had investigate coolant leak, in brackets, suspect head gasket. Now, if that doesn't start alarm bells ringing, I don't know what does. So I think, I'll show you now, that number 2 cylinder, I think it would be 2 if you count it from the front, is the one where if it has blown, the head gasket is gone, and that cylinder has probably filled up with water, which has rotted that spark plug in there so badly. That is my thoughts on that. I don't know whether it's true or not, because obviously I wasn't there, but I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. So there we go. It looks like the head is going to have to come off, which is a shame, because I was hoping to try and revive this engine as it was, just put a new set of spark plugs in it and see if we could get it running. Obviously lubrication down the bores, which is why I wanted to take the spark plugs out in the first place, because I didn't want to turn it over with no oil in there. Unfortunately, that seems to have bitten me. Now, I have tried a number of different methods. If any of you guys know a better way or a different way for me to try and get that shell out of there, I would very, very much appreciate it. But it may already be that I've got the head off by the time this video goes out. It hasn't happened yet, as you can see, but if any of you have got any ideas, please feel free to comment it down below on what I can do to get that shell of the plug out after getting 2 easy outs back out again after they snapped as well. It has been a nightmare. Right, going on from that, under the engine bay, just show you what else I've found since I've been looking around. This linkage on this carburetor is completely seized, so that is going to need looking at. This one has got a slight bit of movement in it, so I'm hoping that that one might free up. That one might free up as well, but we need to obviously look into the carburetors anyway. We don't know what they're like inside. I was umming and ahhing before the spark plug incident whether I needed to change the oil and filter or whether I should run it on what's in there. I think I'm going to change it purely for the fact that I don't know what condition that oil filter is in inside. If it started to break down after sitting there for so long, and then it drags a load of gunge and debris through the oil system and blocks up the oil pickup, then I could be in for a real world of pain. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to err on the side of caution. Once I've sorted this issue out with the spark plugs, we'll do an oil and filter change on it, and obviously a cam belt as well, because we've got to take the cams off to get the head off, which means obviously I need to change that belt no matter what. I suppose it may be a blessing in disguise. While we're in there, we can obviously look at the condition of the alternator, the condition of the water pump, and just go over everything and make sure there's nothing's going to bite us. Also, I'm not sure whether I should take the engine out to do all this. If I do, then it may have to wait a bit longer, because I haven't physically got anywhere to put the engine at the moment when it's out the car. If I just take the head off, I can put those bits in the boot, you see. So a bit I'm in an iron on which way to go with that at the moment. So there we go. That is obviously that. So as far as the list goes, I'm going to probably look back at what I've said in this video now and probably make up a list of all the things that I know I need and start getting it all costed out, and obviously go from there. I'm hopefully going to start delving into this engine fairly soon. Fingers crossed. But the van, as per usual, is absolutely fighting me to the death. It does not want to live. I don't know why. I'll obviously see that, you'll see that in a future video, but that is another reason why this video is a little bit different as far as not actually doing any physical work. I've been at my wit's end with this and the van this week, and it has been a nightmare, and I haven't managed to get anything done as far as parts breaking or things just not going right on anything. It's been a nightmare. So there we go. Right, I got the car back on the ground now, as you can see, so it's not going to roll in through my wall anymore. I think we've basically covered most of what the car needs as far as getting it roadworthy again. What this engine's going to entail though, I do not know, so that is going to be to find out in a future video, I guess. Fingers crossed it's not anything too severe. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode on MEC-TEC. I'm afraid I can't do any more this week. I've literally run out of time. I have been a little bit under the weather as well, as far as feeling a bit ill, so that hasn't helped things either. So it's just gone completely wrong this week, and I cannot do any more, which is why I've obviously resorted to making this video and going around the car and just showing you and finding out for myself also what exactly we think this needs. Now obviously we will find more once we take it apart, but an initial inspection, at least it gives me an idea and a bit of information to make a list of what we can start off getting. I really wanted to get it running before I did anything else, just so I knew the main event, the beating heart, was all right, but obviously that's fighting me as well at the moment, so there we go. It's one of those things, I cannot do anything about it. I've done my best and this is what I've come up with, so there we go. I'm waffling. If you do like what you see and you like projects like the Lotus, like the Puma, like the 3-wheel van, the C1, cab, Fiesta, all the others, then make sure you do 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. It's all free, it costs you absolutely nothing, and it really helps me out on the channel. I do really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. The old subscriber count has been going up fairly steadily, so that is absolutely mega. So I'm waffling again. If you do like what you see, make sure you tune in again next time, and I'll see you soon for more automotive adventures. Cheers guys.